Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, distinguished guests, and folks of all stripes, put your hands together for the Space Cadet Sports Podcast. Houston, we have Paul Salazar Jr.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Space Cadet Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Salazar Jr. You can find the Space Cadet Sports blog, where you can get all the memes, all of the articles, all of the videos, podcasts, all the podcast episodes there at the Substack at spacecadetsports.substack.com. Go check that out. You can be a subscriber for free. We would appreciate all the support there at the blog. I'm Paul Salazar Jr. I am a Houston native. I am an entertainment professional that lives out in Los Angeles. I've been out here for 10 plus years now, but I was born and raised in Houston, where I grew up running the bases at the Astrodome. Going across the walkway to Astro World. I'm your guy. This is your podcast if you're a Houston Astros diehard fan, if you're kind of disenchanted by the way the national media portrays this team and kind of never gives them a fair shake. They're always looking for negative news. If you're kind of not happy with the podcast offerings that are currently offered by the Houston Astros fans out there, you're looking for something that has a little bit more empathy, you're looking for something with a little bit more positivity, I'm your guy. You're at the right place. Welcome to the Space Cadet Sports Podcast. Today, we're going to kind of go over a little bit of this Milwaukee series. I was able to take a couple days off here from podcasting, and I just wanted to go over these couple of games, kind of figure out what the Astros did during this series here in Milwaukee, and look forward to the series against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim as they come to Minute Maid Park to visit our Houston Astros. Let's kind of get to it. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to the Friday game first. I guess we did go over the Friday game already. Let's go to the Saturday game and talk about that loss. Oof, I know we really don't want to, but in the Saturday game, Justin Verlander was on the mound. Justin Verlander actually had a pretty good game. For those of you who are new to the podcast, I am very much a fan. I label myself as that. However, I do watch all of the games. I've been watching baseball since the 90s. I love this team, and I'm always happy to talk about them. I'm always happy to talk to you about them if you didn't catch the game, or if you're just looking for a recap or other opinions on it. That's what I'm here for. I also read all the articles. I read Chandler Rome. I read Brian McTaggart. I read Fansided. I read everything out there that I possibly can read before I get too sick of it. So I'm here to kind of tell you about the game, recap other people's opinions, and give you my opinions on that, folks. I'm explaining a podcast, but that's what we do here. We always reset, explain things to people as if it's their first time. In this game Saturday against the Brewers were able to get the Astros 4-2. It was a tough fifth inning for Justin Verlander. That really was it. When you look at the box score, there's just a 4 for the Brewers in the fifth inning and a bunch of zeros everywhere else. The Brewers only got 6 hits and were able to make 4 runs off of it. It was not the best luck for the Astros, and on top of that, the Astros just were not able to bring any guys home and were not able to get a great offensive outing. It was a tough game for that reason, and I can be a little more frustrated about it because they did end up winning the series. However, this game was tough for me. I was hoping that the Astros winning streak would continue, just for bragging rights' sake. At this point, the Astros are kind of feeling themselves. The Astros are giving us something to be proud of out here as Astros fans. So it was nice to see some wins and that winning streak going, and we were hoping the winning streak would continue. Unfortunately, it was not in the cards. Justin Verlander really had a tougher game than his box score gives him credit for. His box score reads that he pitched 4 2/3 inning. He gave up 4 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, just 3 strikeouts, and a home run. It was a tougher game for Verlander. I really think that that fifth inning was just way too much, and it wasn't even just that fifth inning. It was he wasn't getting a lot of strikeouts. He walked some guys in the fifth inning. and then he just couldn't put away Contreras. So William Contreras, I think they pitched Verlander in the start. Let's see here. I'll just look it up. Verlander pitched 98 pitches, 63 of them were for strikes, and 13, I believe, of those pitches were to William Contreras in that final at bat for Verlander. Verlander was pitched, I believe, 40 pitches in that fifth inning. He got into a lot of trouble, and then William Contreras just kept fouling off pitches, making Verlander sweat. And finally, Verlander just left the ball a little bit too much in the zone. William Contreras was able to hit that to left center and bring 3 runs in, I believe, on that shot. And that pretty much put the game away. That took Verlander out of the game. That gave Verlander the loss, and had to use the bullpen going forward for the Astros to put that game away. Positive notes about the bullpen is the bullpen were only able to use 2 guys on 4 innings. Seth Martinez pitched 2 in a third inning, only gave up 2 hits, only gave up 1 walk, but just a bunch of zeros on his stat line besides that. And after Seth Martinez, Parker Mashinsky, who was brought up to help give us a fresh arm in the bullpen, pitched 2 innings and has zeros all across his stat line besides that. So the bullpen came in and were able to hold the line, not give up any more runs, keep the game within puncher's shot of the Astros winning, but the Astros just could not put it away. The Astros offense was not great that game, but outside of Jake the Rake Myers got 3 hits in that game and an RBI, and only struck out once. But overall, as a team, the team got 8 hits and struck out 9 times and only worked 2 walks. Obviously, only got 2 RBIs there. Runners with scoring position, the team was 1 for 6 and left 7 on base. Tucker did steal his 7th base of the season. But yeah, that offense, that game just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. There were, there were people getting on base. Bregman had a tough game. That's for sure. Yonder Diaz had a tough game. Neither one of those guys were able to get a hit. Diaz did strike out once. Bregman had no strikeouts because he just doesn't strike out that much. But it was a tough game for those guys. Tucker wasn't able to get a hit. He worked some walks, but obviously Tucker is the heart of this team right now, at least in the sense that he is making sure that the Astros are winning games. So yeah, just overall, just there were hits. Everybody got a hit. Everyone else got a hit in the lineup that started except for Tucker, Bregman, and Diaz. And obviously Myers had himself a game, but it just was not enough to do any damage against these Brewers, and they weren't able to get much cooking for them with runners in scoring position. Obviously, there's plenty of games this team has won without doing exceptionally well with runners in scoring position, but with just 1 hit with runners in scoring position in a game like this, it is not going to be won because the Brewers are a good team, and they put the hurt on Justin Verlander, just enough to knock him out of the game. I thought he was going to get out of that inning with no runs. I thought he would potentially even come back to pitch a 6th before that William Contreras at bat that just really taxed Verlander. It was a tough one. Games like this happen. It definitely was not what the Astros fans wanted to see with this team needing wins. Every win is important, and when it is a game that the Astros could have won, it definitely feels a little bit more painful as they're climbing up the standings. However, like I've said in the past, the teams can lose 70 games and still get into the playoffs. So to get this frustrated about one single game this earlier in the season, it seems like an exercise in futility. You don't want to get that frustrated that early. Obviously, if the team misses the playoffs by a game, we'll all look back to every single game that we could have won feeling misery. But right now we can't think like that. You have to think positively. The Astros are 21-26 right now. And that came off of yesterday's game where the Astros won 9-4. You love to see it, folks. You love to see it. This was a game we wanted to see and wanted to close the series on. After going 1-1 with Milwaukee, the Astros desperately needed to win that rubber match. Not just so that my projection of the Astros winning the series with 2 wins would come true, but because the Astros need to keep that momentum. It's okay if they can't get the longest winning streak going. If they lose a game every now and then, that's fine. But what they can't afford right now is to go on another losing streak, even if it's 2 games. We don't want it. It's also going to start putting the pressure on the batters again and taxing the bullpen. Until Ronald Blanco is out, we need to keep that bullpen fresh. We don't want games getting out of hand. The Milwaukee Brewers. We have Carla in studio here. She is going to check on the birds that are making a lot of noise, and I might need to go check on her. But no, she's doing good. The game started off with a bang. A lot of early offense here. The Astros, allowed Christian. Bryce Terang to score on a Christian Yelich single is what I should say on the first inning. The Brewers go up 1-0, but in the bottom of the first, Jose Altuve didn't take much time. He hit his 8th homer of the season on a fly ball to left center field. The Astros go up 1-1. That doesn't end the offense. With 2 men on base, Jake Myers hit a double on ground ball, and Bregman and Pena both scored. Bringing the that would be my math is not mathing right here, folks. Let me see here. Yeah, let me just go bring it back up. So essentially. Sorry about that, folks. John Singleton grounds out to second base. Yordan Alvarez scores. That's how we got that second score. And then Jake Myers doubles and scores in Bregman and Pena. And that's how we got to 4-0. I'm sorry, wait a second. My notes are missing a number there. We get 4-1 in the first inning there, folks. That's what you like to see. The Astros are fighting back, and that's something that they've always been doing, but now they're getting the results. They're not just getting the W's, they're not just getting the wins, they're getting the results from their fights and from their battles here. So that was incredible to see. When we're looking at the stats here, obviously Tucker had himself another game. He was 2 for 5, the Mr. Player of the game here, 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs, and he did have 3 strikeouts. So, the story here with Tucker is that he had to change his shoes during the game to kind of get out of his rut. It was Orbit's birthday, so Kyle Tucker was wearing green Orbit shoes. He struck out 3 times. Decided to change his shoes, came back, got 2 hits, got a home run, or not a home run. He did get a home run. Sorry, he got two home runs. One in the 6th inning off of Vieira, and one in the 7th inning off of White. With 2 games notes going here, I'm trying to make sure I stay on the right day. Tucker changed his shoes, got 2 home runs, is looking like Tucker. Has been looking all season. This guy is the MVP of our team right now. He has been him. So you love to see Tucker out there. Pena also had another good game. He got a multi-hit game, getting 2 hits, going 2 for 4 with a walk and a strikeout, scoring a run. Pena is looking like an all-star. It's funny because I'm always making fun of other podcasters and other people. And I'm always making fun of Chandler Rome. Another guy that I like to make fun of is Michael Connor on his podcast. This guy's just like, who would have thought that Pena would be this good? It's like, anybody. He's the World Series MVP. This kid had a great rookie season. He had a sophomore slump, Michael Connor. You say you watch baseball. Let me explain it to you. It's called a sophomore slump because so many players slump in their second year because the league catches on to them. They have to make adjustments, and they have to figure out a way to play now that the tape is out on them. He makes it sound like this is some kind of miraculous thing that has happened. Pena has been good. He just had a rough season, and even so, he had a pretty decent batting average. It's not that he had that rough of a season. He just kind of was struggling with slugging. He made some adjustments. His batting stance is less twitchy. There's less movement there, and he's getting great results. I really don't understand these people that are "What have you done for me lately?" Like that you forgot Michael Connor that that Pena was a good player because he had a rough stretch. Get over it, dude. You just say whatever you want to get people to listen to you on your podcast. Like I don't know. Like I don't understand people that are so silly and hateful. Like I understand Pena had a down year, but he had such an incredible rookie season. You see that he's a good baseball player. If you watch the games every day, you can see that this guy is a great player. He just needed to make some adjustments. It's no surprise to me that Pena is having this season. Just like it's no surprise to me that John Singleton is having a decent season. In this game, he did pick up 2 hits, going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, a walk, and he did have a strikeout. I was saying John Singleton might not be, the kind of everyday first baseman that we were looking for, but I knew he could be a great backup first baseman because he has great vision, he has the potential for great power, and he is in a place in his career where he's not trying to play outside of himself. He's trying to play within his strengths. However, John Singleton has been an amazing everyday first baseman. I feel like a lot of people owe John Singleton an apology, but I feel like I even owe him one. Even as being as big of a John Singleton fan as I am, I feel like he has exceeded my expectations for him. He, obviously, we all want more home runs. We all want more extra base hits. That's what we want from our slugging positional players. But he has been great. Singleton has been really good, and we'll get more to first base later. And another guy that's been incredible, another guy that got a multi-hit game is our boy Jake the Rake Myers. Once again, he went 3 for 5. He got 2 RBIs, and Jake Myers is continuing to impress with his batting. He's got great jump out there in the field. We've talked about his defensive prowess. While he might not be the guy with the best arm, he's a great defensive center fielder. And now he's really starting to put it together with his offense. This guy is fighting to be the everyday center fielder for the Houston Astros. And we'll get more to that later as well. And then the other guy that got a multi-hit game would be Joey Loperfido. Joe Low was 2 for 5. He did strike out once, and once again, his numbers are looking great. He's got a 333 average and an 817 OPS. Joey Loperfido looks like he is here to stay, folks. And then when we go to the pitching, real quick here, Spencer Eric Getty's line was 6 1/3 of an inning with 7 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. I don't think it's that fair to Eric Getty. He had to go out of the game, and he picked up a couple extra runs, just kind of like Justin Verlander. Eric Getty's game is a lot better than his stats reflect. He just got into some trouble in the last inning there. People will say that Eric Getty should not have been out there in the 7th, but I like the move by Espada, trying to see what Eric Getty can do, taking the training wheels off and letting the guy pitch. He did get into a little bit of trouble, but we pulled the plug early enough to still win the game. So I get that people can be critical of that, but also the alternative is that Joe Espada keeps handling Spencer Eric Getty with kid gloves. I think at some point the training wheels come off and you see what else he can do, especially with Urquidy coming back soon from the IL. You want to see what these pitchers can bring. You want to see what they can do. If you just keep limiting them and not risk anything, you won't see what they can do. Espada had to make a risky move, and I liked it because we still won the game. The next pitcher that came in was Brian Abreu. People were critical of this move too because Abreu, people say, has not been Abreu. However, let's look at it. Abreu picked up his 10th hold of the season. He pitched 2/3 of an inning, and he got out of it. I want to look up some of his metrics real quick, so I am gonna vamp a bit. But I think the people that are saying Brian Abreu isn't right it's the I feel like they're demanding perfection out of the young pitcher. I know he hasn't been great, but he also has had a lot of mixed results this season, and he's figuring it out. Okay, so if we're looking at his standing pitching, his ERA plus is at 120. His field independent pitching is 496, which isn't the best, and his WHIP is at 1.41. So his WHIP is lowering, his ERA plus is above average, and he is improving. I do think that we wanted Abreu to be more of a closer type pitcher, and he's having some struggles. And with the back end of the bullpen having struggles, fans are getting frustrated. But I don't think this is Abreu's fault. He isn't the big money guy here. He is the young guy. So let's give him some room to grow. He's kind of struggling with his fastball right now. He's overthrowing it, perhaps. I'm not really sure. He's having to throw a lot of breaking pitches. But if he can find that fastball again, he's going to be an all-star pitcher and be incredibly effective. He's finding a way to be effective with the arsenal he has now, and he is improving. So maybe hold off on all the hate on a game we win when a pitcher gets decent enough results. I do know he let some runners score there with those couple of hits, but we won the game. He got the hold, and he did okay. He's improving. Then Taylor Scott came in. He pitched 2 innings to improve on his campaign. He only allowed 1 hit, struck 2 batters out, and his ERA is sub 2 now. Taylor Scott is doing really well for the Astros out of the pen. You really are optimistic to have guys like him available in middle relief. The Astros went 4-9, improved to 21-26 on the season. They're now having more divisional games coming up today, but they are 4 games away from Seattle, who is currently in the lead at the American League West. Both the teams ahead of us are on losing streaks. They both lost 1 game, and Oakland is on an 8-game losing streak, and we have the Angels coming into town to battle. The Angels are not that great this season. However, they did kind of put the hurt on the Arlington Rangers. So you don't want to take a team too lightly. You want to make sure that you're playing to win. So hopefully the Astros are going out there and they're not doing the thing that they've done in seasons past, where they kind of played down to the talent. We're hoping they just sweep this team and put them away. That's what the Astros need. If they sweep the Angels, they could realistically leapfrog over Texas. And then when we play Seattle, those games will be a lot more tense, because it'll be the teams could be a lot closer if they're able to sweep these Angels. I think that they can do it. I think it is very possible for them. But let's look ahead at who we have starting these games for the Angels and for the Astros. Today, Framber Valdez and Reed Detmers are squaring off in a southpaw showdown in Minute Maid Park. The Astros have played Reed Detmers plenty of times before to some success. Framber Valdez is looking like he's improving on the season. He had a really good start last time. He was at home. I feel like Framber is going to just solidify here and give us a great outing. If the Astros are able to eat up Reed Detmers, this could be another lopsided game for us. It would be really nice. We need the momentum. We in the next couple games we have Javier and Hunter Brown coming out, so Javier still solidifying his season. So if Framber can just go out there and be nails, kind of eat into the innings, maybe get to the 7th or 8th, so that the bullpen can be more rested for some closer games. If this can be a blowout, it'd be great. That would be really nice, guys. Just blow him out for us. In the next game on the Christian Javier game there, the Angels are sending out Griffin Canning. Griffin Canning his numbers are not too great this season. His WHIP is at 1.35, but his ERA is a little elevated. Griffin Canning, has had, is kind of like an inning eater type pitcher, right-handed pitcher there, 28-year-old. Pitching for Los Angeles. If the Astros can continue to batter him, he's 2 for 4 this season. So he hasn't had the best results. If the Astros are able to kind of get him out of the game early, put the hurt on him, score some runs, it will really spell success for the Astros in that game. That's their key to success for that game, I think. Reed Detmers, with the left-handed batter, I think they obviously can eat him up, but I think Griffin Canning is the guy that if they're going to have success in that game, I feel like they're going to have to do some damage to him and knock him out early and eat into that bullpen. That will also spell success for the third game of our series if they're able to eat into that bullpen, where we have Hunter Brown coming out. And in that third game, it's not like I'm saying I anticipate Hunter Brown to pitch poorly, but he has had mixed results. So if we get Hunter Brown coming in, and we're really not sure what Hunter Brown is showing up, it'd be nice to have done some damage in the past game so that the pitchers are tired. So that when the bullpen comes in, we can do some damage when the bullpen is in, and maybe score a lot of runs to protect Hunter or to close the gap. The Angels are sending out Tyler Anderson in that game, a left-hander, 34-year-old left-hander. He has a sub. A career whip, I should say, of 1.27. So you're looking for that whip to be under 1.3. He has it just there. He has a career ERA of 4.26 and a career win-loss record of 54 and 53. His nickname is Mr. Duck. So there you go. We got that there for you too. His ERA and WHIP on this season is low. He's had a pretty decent season by his standards. He is 4-4 on 9 games though. So this guy, this career pitcher, I feel like can get good results. Obviously, he's been in the league for a while. He knows how to pitch. But if the Astros are able to beat up on this left-hander as well, hopefully not allowing him to go too deep into the game and really feasting on hopefully some subpar pitching here from the Angels, they can win. And I think in this third game, to protect Hunter Brown, they're going to want a lot of offense in that third game. I think when it comes to the Angels, I do anticipate us winning 2 out of 3 of these games. That's going to be my projection. I really wish I could say that we'll sweep. I think with just a variety of factors, this being the end of this long stretch of games for the Astros, I could see some weariness setting in. I also think that the kind of mixed performances of Hunter Brown has been a little concerning for me this season. So I while I'm not anticipating like him pitching poorly, I do think that is a game that we will need some offense to win. I think we probably will want more than 5 runs in that Hunter Brown game just to feel comfortable, is what I will say. It is the end of the long run of games. Hunter Brown is out there. I do think that in order to win that last one, they're going to want a lot of offense. I feel a lot more confident about this first game today, the lefty southpaw matchup here. I feel like that one's going to be a win, and I feel with how Christian Javier has been pitching, I think the second game might be a little closer. They might have to bring out Hader to close out the game. It might be close, but I do anticipate the Astros winning that one. After that, the Astros will finally get a day off. We'll all get a day off. And then the Astros go on a road trip to play Oakland and Seattle to play some big division games. I do think that is, the Astros are looking good. They are set up well to start climbing the rankings here. They just have to execute now. They have to remain consistent. They have to have a consistent offensive output in order to win these games. Looking forward, we do have some players coming back from injury that we have to talk about. We do have Chas McCormick coming back. I said we talk about that, about the offense. We have a bit of a shuffle with all of these outfielders. And with Chas McCormick coming back, I definitely see Trey Cabbage going back down to the minor league club. I think Jake Myers has really carved his place onto the roster right now. I see him playing a lot of games at center field going forward until he cools off. With Mauricio Dubon spelling him, I do think Joey Loperfido has had great results in his limited time with the team here. I do not think that they send him back down. I think he's going to stay on the roster and continue to do well here, and they send Cabbage down. But that does mean that Chas McCormick is coming into a different situation than he did when he left the team with an injury, with soreness. Now Chas McCormick is coming back, and he is kind of needing to kind of edge his way back into the lineup. He's behind Myers. He might be behind Loperfido, and we still have Dubon out there able to play outfield positions. So if Chas McCormick comes back and Trey Cabbage goes back down, it will be a tougher road for the Tasmanian Devil to find as much consistent playing time as he did in the past. It's kind of wild. We have all these outfielders, and we have, we so many of them have different strengths. Like Mauricio Dubon is Justin Verlander's personal center fielder. He's the guy with the best arm out there. Chas McCormick is a playoff hero that does a bunch of, just crazy catches and seems to be just a heart and energy guy. Definitely has had high success slugging in the past, but has been off to a slow start this season. Jake the Rake Myers has amazing jump. His StatCast metrics are undeniable. However, he's been slow to find his groove, and just might be finding it now as we speak. This might be him finding his game. Joey Loperfido, he's a rookie sensation, Mr. Natural out there in the outfield. He's a natural outfielder, and he's had great results. It seems like we can Frankenstein the perfect outfield together with everybody's traits. But it will be a challenge for your manager Joe Espada to figure out who's playing on a consistent basis, and we will see how the roster shakeup works with Chas coming back. Another thing to mention in late May is going to be, Jose Urquidy. So Jose Urquidy coming back, that's going to put pressure on Hunter Brown and Spencer Arrighetti to perform well, because one of them will lose their spot in the rotation when Urquidy comes back. Potentially both of them could lose their spot. Ronel Blanco will come back from suspension. Jose Urquidy comes back from IL, and if they're not doing a six-man rotation, both of those guys can be moved to the bullpen or moved to AAA. So we will see what the Astros do. I think that the more straightforward answer here would be to send Arrighetti down and use Hunter Brown out of the pen or as a sixth starter. But we will see what general manager Dana Brown and manager Joe Espada do going forward. But the biggest news for sure, a lot of the pieces that are being written is about Jose Abreu, who's in West Palm Beach. I always joke that he's in Sugar Land. We know he's in West Palm Beach. He's out there in Florida with Jeff Bagwell, and Jeff Bagwell is saying that Jose Abreu is ready to rejoin the team, that they found his swing again. He could join the team as early as the road trip going to Oakland. So at the end of this week, we could have a Jose Abreu sighting. This makes fans nervous. Jose Abreu has not given the greatest results in the regular season in an Astros uniform. John Singleton, that everybody is so worried about and everybody loved to hate on and beat up on early in the season, is now a fan favorite. People are loving to see John Singleton out there playing first base, and they feel more confident about that. John Singleton might not be, burning the league down, but he has been a great first baseman defensively. He's fielded his position very well. Offensively, he's done great to have a patient at bat and to get some timely hitting when the Astros need it. Jose Abreu, unfortunately, has had one of the most terrible starts to the season that I've seen anyone have. It just has been a rough go for Jose Abreu. We are rooting for Jose Abreu here. I think that's really the thing. Is I think people think Jose Abreu is going to come back and immediately starting at first base every game. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think what they're going to do with Jose Abreu is bring him in as a platoon first baseman, and try to. I mean, I think until Jose Abreu is off this roster, this will be the case. He'll come in and he'll platoon first base, and they're constantly going to be holding that starting position at first base open for Jose Abreu if he takes it. All he has to do is take it. So, will Jose Abreu be good enough to take that position away from John Singleton is going to remain to be seen. But I don't think anybody needs to panic and think that Joe Espada is going to send, Jose Abreu struggling every day out there at first base. I think Jose Abreu will get his opportunities, but I do think that they will ride the hot hand until Jose Abreu claims his job back. That is his job right now, is to claim his job back. Not for the Astros to give it to him. I don't think they're going to give it to him. So I think everyone just kind of chill a little bit. This is a veteran player. He deserves the opportunity to try to get his job back. The fact of the matter is that we're paying him a lot of money. The Astros cannot trade this man. So they want him to do well, so that bare minimum, so that the league maybe takes some interest in this player to see if there's any movement for him. I don't think there is any reality where the Astros are going to be able to trade Jose Abreu during this contract. I don't think that'll happen, but I'm just saying the logic is you want him to succeed because he's paid so much money. Going forward, I do think that people are going to start freaking out when this news drops when he joins a team, but I don't think it's any reason to freak out. However, we are looking at the roster. If Trey Cabbage is going down when Chas McCormick goes down, then who goes down when Abreu goes down? Some people are saying we're probably going to DFA John Singleton. I don't think that's what's going to. I think we send Greg Kessinger down, or we send, I think. I think Abreu will be on the bench more than not until he finds his way back on it. So I think Kessinger goes down. I think Singleton remains on the team and Loperfido remain on the team. I don't think they want Loperfido to move, and I don't see why in the world you would send John Singleton away when he's done so well with the time that you've given him. I mean, everybody always expects people to be an all-star, but sometimes being an average Major League Baseball player is enough to keep you on a roster. We just live in a reactionary society. It's absolutely bizarre. But I do think that's what's going to happen with the roster situation. Maybe let me just pull it up real quick here. Let's see. I was like, with all the moves that the Astros have been doing, sometimes it is hard to be completely up to breast on the Astros. Yeah, I was like, Kessinger's still with the club. Yeah, I did the math in my head, but I was like, wait a second, is Kessinger still up? But yeah, that's what I suspect. You send Kessinger down. Kessinger is there as a utility man, and we can use Mauricio Dubon for that. I don't see why you would send anyone else besides Kessinger, unfortunately, for Gray. And we do wish Gray the best, but yeah, I anticipate that being the move. I don't know. Tell me what you think. What do you think the moves will be with Chas Urquidy, Ronel Blanco? Obviously we won't need a move for Ronel Blanco, but with all these guys coming back, with Abreu coming back, is this the time for the Astros, now that they have their roster almost completely back to full strength, now that they have the people in starting positions that deserve those starting positions and are actually contributing to the team? What do you think? Who do you think goes up? Who do you think goes down for the players that are being added to the team? Do you think the Astros take 2 out of 3 games against these Angels? I totally think they do. I'm hoping for a sweep, but I think 2 out of 3 is realistic. And then if we get 2 out of 3, and then we go on the road against Oakland and Seattle, like I was saying earlier in the season when everybody was burying the Astros, I was the one saying wait till May. Wait till May. By the end of May, we can have a good idea as to what this team is. Go back, find me saying it. I know that this is how this team starts off, and I do think that while I've been preaching it's a long season, we are now seeing how the long season plays out. This team can turn it around. This is their opportunity. This is their chance, and I think they're well set up to take full advantage of that opportunity. Let me know what you think too, though, folks. With that being said, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Space Cadet Sports Podcast. We really appreciate you being here. We appreciate all the listens. We are trying to grow this podcast and trying to give Houston Astros fans and diehard fans exactly what they need and want out of a podcast here. Carla says thank you. Carla is here in studio with me. She's been sleeping this whole podcast, well, almost this whole podcast, but she says thank you for listening. She really put a lot of work and effort into this episode. If you'd be so kind to check out the Substack at spacecadetsports.substack.com. You can get all the memes, all the podcasts, all the video podcasts, all the recaps and the series previews, all that stuff on the Substack for free. Just takes a little subscription. You get all of the things directly emailed to your inbox. We really appreciate you checking that out. Wherever you're listening to this podcast on, please subscribe, please like, give us a 5-star review, share this episode with people that would appreciate it. Find those Houston Hustlers and those diehard Astros fans and share this episode with them, and let me know what you think, folks. Thanks for listening to this podcast. We appreciate you. Keep your head up, and as always, vamos Astros.